Closing the breach? Question mark? This is episode 9 of Dragon Age. Let me just whack all of my details into here. Make it public. Public. Done. Awesome. Add a thumbnail. Yep. Add it to my playlist. Yep. Show more. So I need to add my tags. Okay. Show more again, because I still need to add tags. Here we are. Gaming. Dragon Age Inquisition. And save. Alrighty. Right. Just need this to do its thing. Hopefully. Nice. There it is. Alrighty. Second stream of the day. Let's get open. Get that link. Copy. Live holes. Second stream of the day. Whack it in there. More DI. Come out in chat with me. Where's my server? That'd be helpful, wouldn't it? There we go. Create post. Let's close the breach. DAI spoilers. Close that. Come hang out in chat while we close the breach. Question mark. Awesome. Add a flare, which should be media. Okay. Streaming some Dragon Age Inquisition, which I can't spell apparently. Flare. None. Let's just post it. Awesome. We can close that. Alright. Well, let's do this to it. We need to head back to here. That's the wrong button. Haven. Ah, yes, that's what this one's called. Edit. Need to edit the title. In your heart shall burn. There we go. Alright. Let's smash this. Let's start over here with Blackwall. Let's get chatting.
I've been meaning to thank you. There are 100 things that need your attention. You didn't have to take the time to help me, and yet you did.
Yeah, it was for a good cause.
If the history you pursue benefits the Wardens, then it was worth it.
You've proven yourself to be an honorable woman. Principled. I've great admiration for you, and I've never been more certain in my decision to join you.
Oh, well, thank you. Admiration.
I would never have guessed that you admire me.
Of course I do. You have the world at your feet, myself included.
I want to be worshipped.
I don't deserve that sort of reverence.
Modest too. Your list of qualities continues to grow. Now, we should return to our duties before I get too carried away.
Great. Yeah, investigate. Tell me about the Wardens.
Let's talk about the Grey Wardens. You must know a lot about them.
Ah, the Wardens. I'm afraid we're less exciting than we seem.
I don't know if that's true. I'm a big Wardens fan. What do Wardens do?
The Blight's been over for 10 years. What do Wardens do when the world's not ending?
There is still Darkspawn. Just because we killed so many in Ferelden doesn't mean they're gone. And the world is not so peaceful that there's no use for good men with swords. Sometimes you have to figure out for yourself what the pledge to protect others really means. It's not always about just archdemons and blights.
Hola, bonjour. How are you doing?
Where were you during the Blight?
I was in Ferelden, on my own like always. Quietly killed my fair share of Darkspawn too.
Good to know. Were you travelling alone?
You haven't had contact with other Wardens for a while. Why were you on your own?
It's what I've always done. Recruitment only requires one man. Besides, I've always been a loner. Works best for everyone that way.
I feel that. Where have the Wardens gone?
So you have no idea where the rest of the Wardens are?
Do you find that odd? The Blight is over. We don't need an organised force. And orders don't change much from day to day. For the last 1,000 years or so, it's been just find Darkspawn, kill them, repeat as necessary.
We can speak later.
Let's continue this at another time.
As you wish. I'll be here if you need me.
Alright, well, we'll speak now.
There was never going to be an easy answer to the mage dilemma. What you did for the mages took courage. You gave them a chance. Everyone deserves one. Something on your mind?
Yeah, I want to talk. Thoughts on the Inquisition? No, let's talk about you.
I want to hear more about you.
Compared to yours, my life will seem dull indeed.
Okay then. Where are you from?
Your name, Blackwall, doesn't sound Orlesian. Marcher then. Ferelden.
I was from the Free Marchers originally. Markham. That was a long time ago. Another life.
Okay. So you have a past?
I hear that many Wardens were once criminals.
You're right. And when you join, your past is forgotten, so let's leave it that way.
I mean, yeah, that's also true.
What did you do before you became a Warden?
I was a soldier, a nobody trained to wield a sword and follow orders. Grew weary of fighting other men's wars.
So you became a Warden?
More or less. Becoming a Grey Warden was the first time I felt like I mattered. The life I led before seems hollow in comparison. Perhaps one day
Yeah.
it'll fade away.
I guess that's very true.
Why did you join the Wardens?
Because they remember honor and sacrifice. Words that have little meaning to the rest of us. Because they lay down their lives for those they have sworn to protect. We all need to believe there are such men in the world. I needed to believe I could be one of them.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
We can continue this discussion at another time.
Very well.
Good to know.
Inquisitor?
Thoughts on the Inquisition?
What do you think of the Inquisition?
I expected more men, better equipment. You may have Andraste's favor, but wars are won by men, soldiers.
That is very true. Yeah, why Warsaw?
Avoiding war altogether would be ideal.
True enough. Still, it never hurts to be prepared. One thing I will say about your men. They're passionate, devoted. You inspire them. Build on that foundation, and you will have an army that makes nations tremble.
Investigate. Yeah, your thoughts on the war?
What do you think about all this trouble between the Mages and Templars?
Looking at it from where we stand, it seems inevitable. But that could be hindsight. How many of us actually saw it coming? Either way, I don't think the Chantry will ever recover.
You and me both. What about Haven?
What do you think of Haven?
It's a war camp that was once a pilgrim's refuge. It's the state, isn't it? Holy ground turned into a battlefield. Pity about that temple. Would have been nice to see it.
Good. Investigate. Your thoughts on my advisors?
What do you think of my advisors?
Josephine's lovely, and craftier than you'd expect. The Inquisition could not have picked a better ambassador.
This is true. Thoughts on the inner circle?
You must have some feelings about our friends.
Dorian, he's arrogant, he preens himself. But you already know that. He doesn't even hide it.
Good to know. What about our cause?
What do you think of the Inquisition's cause?
Restoring order is a goal I support wholeheartedly. But that's not the end of it, is it? Not by a half. The Lady Seeker believes we are restoring the Chantry. Others say it needs reform. I don't know where you stand on the matter, and I'll admit I haven't made up my mind either.
Good to know. Anything else? No? Okay.
We should return to our duties.
As you wish. You are, after all, in charge.
I am indeed. Alright. Let us speak with Bull.
So, that Tevinter guy sent you into the future?
Yeah, Tevinter magic goes too far.
I've got no problem with normal magic, but Tevinter goes beyond all reason.
I know, right? The Vints are always pushing. Anyway, I hope our new friends have what it takes to close the breach. Damn thing gives me a headache just looking at it.
You and me both.
Can I help you?
I guess not.
See you later, Bull.
See ya.
We complete our dialogue for him?
What can I do for you?
Okay, good. Cool. Creme.
Nice work at Redcliffe. I could help the mages learn to work with Inquisition soldiers if you like. Not that the chief has any apostates in the group.
Cool. Yeah, let's discuss Iron Bull.
I'd like to know more about the Iron Bull.
The chief. First time I met him, he saved my life. I never thought I'd work for a Canary, but he grows on you. He's not like any commander I've ever worked for. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, what kind of commander is he?
How's Iron Bull as a commander?
If you know what you're doing and hold up your end, he's easy. He doesn't accept any less. If he keeps us alive, he leads from the front, and if you've an idea that'll win the fight, he listens. I've seen bands whose captains had to prove they were swinging the biggest sword. Bull isn't like that. The charges might give him more lip than you'd expect, but every one of us would lay down our lives for the big ass.
Well, good to know. How did you end up with him?
How did a Tevinter soldier wind up in a Kunari spy's mercenary company?
I wasn't a soldier at the time. I was in some trouble, trying to flee to Vinter. A Tribune and his men caught me in a border town tavern. They meant to make an example of me. Bull killed them. Gave up his eye doing it. Patched me up and asked if I was looking for work. I've been putting up with his jokes ever since.
He gave up his eye?
That's how he lost the eye.
Yes. The guards had me on the tavern floor when Bull came inside and yelled for them to stop. One of them saw trouble coming and figured he'd finish me off. The guard had a flare. Bull put himself between me and the blow. Big-horned idiot. Didn't even know
damn.
me.
Fair play. Yes, him being a Canary odd.
Is it strange to work for a Kunari?
He hasn't tried to convert us to the Qun, if that's what you're asking. Bull's charges don't care who you light a candle for, so long as your shield stays up. If he hadn't told me he was Ben Hasrath, I'd have thought he'd left that life behind.
Yeah, I'm surprised he told you.
I didn't expect he'd tell you all that he was a spy.
Not the whole band, but those who've been around long enough to trust. He figures most of us would find out sooner or later, and it should come from him. Eyes to eye, he says. It's never messed up a job. He just writes letters back home. Lots of the boys write letters back home.
Makes a lot of sense.
Later.
We'll talk right now. If you will let me press X. Come on. Okay, we'll talk later. Cassandra.
And what are we supposed to do, exactly?
What you always do. Complain.
We've already spoken with Commander Cullen. No one listens. We want better quarters. We want the Templars kept at a distance. and some respect for...
This is not the circle. You mages are our allies, not our wards. Act like it.
How are we supposed to...
Deal with it.
Yeah, you tell him, Cassandra.
It never ends, evidently.
Never does. Feel free to say hi in the chat, guys, if you're watching. Is there a problem?
Is there an issue with the mages? Can I help?
The mages are here as equals. They need to get used to what that means. It is your doing, after all. You created this alliance.
Yeah, you're blaming me?
You would have done differently, I suppose.
Oh. I do sound like I'm blaming you, don't I?
Yes.
I don't disapprove. In fact, you did well. You made a decision when it needed to be made. And here we are. I wish I could say this was my doing.
Flatterer.
You're flattering me.
I'm not. This always happens. Nobody ever takes my meaning.
You should see your face.
I'm thinking less flattering things now. Let's hope the breach has your sense of humor.
I mean, the world would be a better place if it does. Alright, what else you got for me, Cassandra? Where are you? Evaporate into the ether. Grab some of this elf fruit quick, though. Oh, 7 likes. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. Again, if you are watching, feel free to say hi in the chat. You can come and nerd about anything.
Yes?
Investigate. Let's talk about the Chantry.
May I ask you about the Chantry?
It is difficult to say what becomes of the Chantry now. They have no Templars, no leadership, and no one left who is worthy of succeeding the Divine. It has fallen apart when everyone needs it the most. I ache to think what this will mean in the days to come.
I also ache to think what this will mean in the days to come. Should the Chantry be saved?
Do you really believe the Chantry is worth preserving?
If you ask my opinion, it is. Absolutely. Cast the Chantry aside and new problems replace old ones. We will have learned nothing from history. The people need stability, and the Chantry needs a new purpose. Andraste had a dream for us. It can still be achieved.
I agree. What new purpose?
So, what should this new purpose be?
A dedication to what is truly important. Instead of building cathedrals and sewing gowns for the Divine, the Chantry used to spend its coin feeding the poor. If we are to spread the Maker's word across the world, we must do so with open hearts and open hands.
Good to know. Yeah, you sound like an idealist.
That sounds rather idealistic of you.
Does it? I do not think it's so unachievable. The Chantry has many good, honest people. They just need direction and inspiration. They need to be freed from centuries of adherence to tradition and ceremony. A chance for renewal is at our fingertips. It does not have to come with utter chaos.
I like Cassandra a lot. She's a great character. Who is Chancellor Roderick? A dick. That's who he is.
What influence does Chancellor Roderick really wield?
He's a bureaucrat, responsible for communicating the Divine's will to the rest of the Chantry. Therefore, he's accustomed to the clerics hanging on his every word, hoping his influence will benefit them. Despite that, Roderick is not a bad man. He's frightened, and believes his place is to fill the gap left by Most Holy's death. Some might agree. As far down the chain of command as he is, there is no one left above him.
Good to know. Will he be a problem? Yes. I know the answer to that already.
No more than he is already. He sent his message to the College of Clerics. That is the only card he had to play. Dealing with him further only lends him credibility he doesn't deserve.
I can agree with that. Why did you leave the Chantry?
I'm surprised you rebelled against the Chantry.
I left my own order when they took the wrong path. It is no different. But in neither case did I stop caring. Indeed, I care so much that I feel drastic action is necessary. I suppose history shall one day judge my actions.
We shall see, won't we? Will there be a new Divine?
Will the Chantry replace Divine Destinier?
They will try. Once the priests withdraw for the Grand Consensus, It is against Chantry law for them to emerge without naming a new divine. Sometimes it takes days, or weeks, or even months. The problem now is that no clear successor to Justinia exists. All worthy clerics died with her at the conclave.
Yeah, what if they don't agree?
So what happens if they can't agree on something?
Theoretically, they will argue until exhaustion takes them or they see reason. Practically, however, if the grand consensus goes on too long, the Chantry will crumble. Any cleric with ambition but little sense will see this as her one chance, and plenty of such clerics exist. We shall see what happens. The Inquisition must act in the meantime.
We will do our best. Would you serve as a new divine?
If they do choose a new divine, will you serve her?
That depends on whether she would have me. I am a rebel now, remember? And even if she would, I do not know. It would depend on what type of divine she is. I am no longer in a position to follow blindly, and no new divine could expect such obedience now.
That's all for now then.
Thank you.
Greetings.
Let's talk about yourself.
I have some more questions.
Why am I not surprised?
I don't know why either. When's your brother?
Tell me about your brother.
I would prefer not to speak of Anthony. Another time, perhaps.
Fine.
I'll let you get back to...
Do you need something?
The Seekers.
Can you tell me more about the Seekers?
The Seekers of Truth were born from the original Inquisition long ago, when it united with the Chantry. Seekers stood above the Templars, watching over them but also investigating magical events they couldn't handle. We were meant to be incorruptible, above reproach. How seldom does reality match the ideal?
But what are the Seekers? This is a great question.
But what are Seekers exactly?
Those who know anything of us think we are Templars. We do not use lyrium, however. Our abilities are different, as was our original purpose. We disciplined the Templars and were accountable only to the Divine, and not even her, truthfully.
Okay. So you led the Templars?
So the Seekers commanded the Templars?
No, the Order didn't assume command until after the rebellion. The Templars have always feared us. When a Seeker arrived at a circle, they knew trouble was afoot. That kind of power is troubling. You begin to think you are the only one who can solve the world's problems. If you don't see a problem, it doesn't exist. If someone insists it does, they are the blind ones.
That is true. Can it be fixed?
Do you think that kind of problem could ever be fixed?
Possibly. Though the Seekers themselves would need to change. They were clearly not willing to, even though they abandoned everything they stood for to avoid it. In my heart, I believe they can still be salvaged, but not by their own hands.
Right. What abilities do you have?
You mentioned that Seekers have different abilities than Templars.
Entirely. A Templar's abilities come from lyrium and are designed to hunt mages. Ours come from ritual and many years of dedicated training. We cannot be possessed by demons and are immune to mind control. Useful considering our role. Seekers can gain other gifts, though that depends on the individual.
What are your gifts?
What kind of gifts do you have?
I can set the lyrium within a person's blood aflame. Both mages and Templars bend before my will. Some Seekers use it to interrogate, others simply to paralyze. Once there was a Seeker who could use it to kill. That particular gift is considered rare.
Why did the Seekers rebel?
Why did your order turn against the Chantry?
We originally united with the Chantry through a treaty that stated they would keep mages under control. It was felt Most Holy had tacitly allowed the Circle of Magi to vote on its independence, thus breaking the treaty. The Seekers saw themselves as justified, and they led the Templars into a war of righteousness.
You disagree?
You sound like you disagree.
We knew what was happening at Kirkwall, where the Mage Rebellion began. We looked into reports of Knight Commander Meredith's harsh treatment of her charges years earlier. But we found so many shocking cases of magical corruption, it was decided her actions were justified. If we'd been there when it happened, if we'd looked harder at the root causes...
It was inevitable.
What happened couldn't be avoided. It started long ago.
We weren't helpless. We had the power to act and chose not to. When faced with a problem, the Seekers would close ranks and crush it. We would find an answer, but only once we felt we weren't being coerced. The moment the mages voted for independence, our response was predictable. It was difficult to watch.
Yeah, that's very true. How did you become a Seeker?
How does someone become a Seeker?
Most Seekers begin training in their youth. I was much older, an exception due to my noble birth. We train rigorously for years. Our bodies and minds must be elastic to undergo the vigil, and most fail even then.